Okay, so we have to graph this linear inequality just like we graph everything else. This is the kind of problem that, for some reason, is still catching people off guard, and it shouldn't. This is just like, by the way, I'm going to write this as though it's an equation instead of an inequality. So I'm going to write y equals, and then I'm going to write what's here. And we'll talk about it as though we're graphing that line. Okay, so what does this really look like? Well, this looks like y equals, what's the number in front of x? What is the coefficient of x? Don't say negative. Negative isn't a number. What's in front of it? Don't say negative x, because x is not part of the coefficient. That's the variable itself. What's in front? Negative 1. Negative 1 is the coefficient of x. We don't show the 1, but it's assumed to be there. Negative 1 is the coefficient of x. And that's what you're going to use for your slope. Now, what do we use for our intercept? There is no intercept, Mr. Massey. Yes, there is. If you don't see an intercept, it's plus 0. That means that it's an amount that is not going to add anything to it, and that's why you don't need to show anything being added to it. But you have to know it's there so that when you graph it, you can say, I'm going to first go to 0 on the y-axis right there, the origin. And this is an equation just like what we call um, a, a direct variation equation that goes through the origin. We're going to plot that point, and then we're going to rise negative 1, run 1 right there. Rise negative 1, run 1 right there. Rise negative 1, run 1 right there. And we're going to plot all those points. So I'll put those points there, and 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 there, all the way down. And you can go in the other direction as well, as long as you're hitting it still in that same line. Okay, and we'll draw that line with the drawing tool, and then we'll analyze it in a second. So I'm gonna grab my drawing tool, and I'm gonna go from that corner exactly, and that should go through all the points that we need to, and it does. Okay, now let's analyze it. We say y is greater than or equal to. Greater than or equal to means we got to go above it. Can we include the line? Yes. Does it say or equals? Yes, it does. Any point, including 0, 0, because it's right on the line, because it says or equals, that should make it true. And in fact, let's take another point like 5, negative 5. Okay, let's just check that, test it. It's right on the line and see what happens. Okay, let me erase this. You should understand what I was doing there. And we're going to test out now 5, negative 5, which is this point right here, to see if it works. Okay, so we say parentheses equals negative parentheses, and since we're doing, let me write it in a different color. Since we're doing 5, negative 5, we will put in 5 for x and negative 5 for y. And what do we get as a result? We get negative 5. Actually, my mistake. I shouldn't be testing this. I should be testing the actual inequality that we were given. I was using the equation that was there, and I didn't write the proper inequality there, which is, just one second, it is y is greater than or equal to, like that. Okay? So we get negative 5 is greater than or equal to negative 5. Is that true? Yeah, it's true only because this or equals. That allows them to be equal, and it's still true. Which we know, if we pick a number right on the line, we're always going to get the same number on both sides if we're doing it right. So if we pick a number on the line, yes, we do get the same number on both sides. Does it make it true? Yes, it does, if it says or equals. So 5 is equal to negative 5, and that part of it makes it true. Okay? Just to check and make sure that we should be including the line, and we should. Now, which side of the line do we shade? Well, this says y is all the values greater than. That means everything above it. And okay, and then we will get all of this region here. Let's use this tool, seems easier. We'll get this entire region here is going to be the shaded area. And we can't test 0, 0 because it's sitting right on the line, so it doesn't tell us which side of the line to be on. But intuitively you can see that because they're talking about y values greater than the line, then it should be all everything above that line. And so that's what you get